Welcome back to Sportscall, everyone. Brett Pritchard, Randy Lee, and Andy Graham here with you. We'll take your phone calls the next segment, but right now we want to go to the phone lines and welcome in former Auburn Tiger himself and NFL player for the Kansas City Chiefs, Jeris McIntyre. Jeris, thanks for being part of the program today.
Yeah, man, thank you for having me, man. How you guys doing today?
Man, we're doing great, Jeris. Real quick, kind of give everybody an update where you are now, what's going on with you, because a lot of people loved watching you while you were here and then, of course, while you were with Kansas City, but kind of give everybody an update what's going on in your world.
Definitely. I out here in Tampa, Florida. I was born and raised here, but back at home, me and my father, Jeris McIntyre, another former Auburn Tiger, own an underground utility company, and we're doing pretty well down here in Tampa, Florida, and distribute throughout the Southeast. So I've been doing that, staying busy doing that with him, as well as my sisters who are two Auburn grads themselves, and just keeping me busy, man, to go along with me coaching youth ball, the middle school age group, 13 and 14-year-olds coaching youth ball. So I'm a little head coach trying to get my Gus Malzahn on, if you will say. So, that's keeping me busy as well, man. So I'm down here in Tampa, living a life and trying to do what I can and coaching a little bit of youth football. So that keeps me busy for the most part, except on the Saturdays where I'm watching those Auburn Tigers playing good ball now. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been up to for the most part.
Well, it sounds good, Jeris. And again, got that Auburn family going all the way from your dad through your sisters and all. And again, let's talk about this Auburn team. Again, last year it was a year to forget for sure. And the thing about it, Jeris, is that wasn't Auburn football, and I think that was the thing that was disheartening for everybody. Of course, while you were at Auburn on some very good football teams, y'all started that run there basically against Alabama that lasted 6 consecutive wins. You were with Jason Campbell with some really good players on that team. You led Auburn in receptions in 2003 with 41, and last year just wasn't very pleasant for anybody associated with Auburn, and it's great to see what Malzahn has done coming in this year and going on the road, beating Texas A&M last week has propelled this Auburn team back up to relevancy.
Yeah, definitely, and I from seeing how things have changed since last year, because I love Coach Hitchens to death. He was my defensive coordinator on a couple of those years where I was at Auburn, and I loved him to death. But they made the change to Gus, and I think, it was a great move with seeing what he's done with the team that went through what they went through last year and being able to successfully come in, implement his offense for the players that were recruited to play in his offense, and being able to run the ball. Bringing Coach Gardner in, getting Ellis Johnson, and having that attacking defense that we're used to seeing at Auburn with the defensive line and the linebackers, being aggressive. I think that is Auburn football. And we run spread, and it looks fancy, but at the end of the day, we're running downhill. It's hard-nosed Auburn football. And defense is attacking, and I think that's more of Auburn football than we're seeing what Auburn football is supposed to look like, and I think that's why we've been so successful so quickly, just being able to run the football and getting the depth of the defensive line to be able to put pressure on the quarterbacks and being able to play full quarters and not getting tired. I think last year it was huge. We didn't have depth issues for whatever reason as far as the linebackers, defensive line. We didn't have the depth, and it showed in a lot of those games where we were blown out because we couldn't stop anybody, and I think that had a part to do with depth and a young football team as well. But things have definitely changed on the Plains, and it's very, very bright future.
Hey, Jeris, this is Andy. We were talking about it before you came on and remembering some plays of yours, and the first one that came to mind for me was in 2003. The team got off to such a bad start, and you stepped up as a team leader in the Vanderbilt game, scored the first touchdown, and really got that season jump-started. You guys went through a disappointing season in 2001 and were able to come back in 2002 and really have a great season to kind of propel the team on to that 2004 undefeated year. As a player from that perspective and being a team leader, what do the players, what do they have to do, or what have they done to step up and lead this team back to this great turnaround?
I honestly think failure is the best teaching tool when it comes to that situation, because I knew myself looking, from the team that we had in 2003, was probably just as talented or probably even more talented than that 2004 undefeated team. I mean, you look at the linebackers that we had, from Terrence Thomas to Carlos Dansby, and in the fronts with Spencer Johnson and DeMarco McNeil. A lot of those guys left, and a lot of young guys stepped up that had played but weren't really, the stars of the team before, like the Jay Ratliffs and the Travis Williams and Ontarius Williams and Derek Graves and guys like that. So I think seeing us go through it, and I guess they crowned us, you're a top 5 team, and for whatever reason we got off to a horrible start. I think that next year coming in with the senior leadership that they had with Jason Campbell and Cadillac and Ronnie and Carlos Rogers and those guys, they knew what we went through the year before. And I think they weren't going to have that their senior year, knowing what happened, my senior year. So I think it's always the best teaching tool, from to translate that from the team this year to last year. You got guys that went through it, like the Gabe Wrights, Greg Robinson, pretty much the whole offensive line, a lot of the defensive linemen, even the Jake Hollins, guys like that, Mincy. All those guys got their butts kicked up and down the field last year. Didn't even win an SEC game. And they were young, and they know now what it takes to be successful in the SEC. So I think, with that being said, I just think it was growing pains as a whole last year. I think they're, a year bigger, a year stronger, a year smarter. And on top of that, we got a quarterback now who can do a little something, and we have the offense, I think, that goes with the talent that was recruited, and it's just all meshing in one, and I think that's why the turnaround happened so quick.
Well, I'll ask you our question of the day, not including Alabama. Which team scares you the most, Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia?
I would always say Arkansas, because for whatever reason they play us tough. They could be, 0-9.
I agree with you.
They usually scare me, but from seeing, these last couple games, I'm not too worried, because I think we're going to put up a bunch of points with them. Oh, man, that's a tough one. I would probably say Tennessee. They have an enthusiastic coach. I think, do we go to Knoxville?
Yes, we do go to Knoxville. Yes, we do.
I think I would probably say that one. I know we'll be up for Georgia, so that, not to say it scares me, but we'll be up for Georgia. I think if we're undefeated and we're heading to Knoxville and they're not ranked, and I think that game probably scares me the most, because I know they have some talent. They beat South Carolina. It's crazy in that 100,000 plus stadium that they play in. Like I said, enthusiastic coach. They're trying to turn things around the way we are over at Tennessee. I think that's probably the game that scares me the most. Is Tennessee, obviously, before Alabama.
Well, Jeris, I'll tell you what, man, I got to ask you before we let you go, you going to get up anytime? Have you been up to any of the games this year? You going to get up to any of these coming down the stretch?
I'm going to definitely try to get to the Iron Bowl this year. Hopefully, we still have the one loss, and we're playing for the SEC West. So that would be the ideal situation, the ideal game to go to. So I'm probably going to try to head up and check out that Iron Bowl in person for my first game this year. But I'm kind of superstitious, and if we don't lose up until the Iron Bowl, I might just continue to watch the games on TV so we can win this game. I don't know. But if any game, I'll be at the Iron Bowl.
I hear you, Jeris. And, again, just whatever shirt you've been wearing, just keep wearing it, okay?
Exactly.
Hey,
That's how I do it.
I'm with you on that kind of stuff, too. But, Jeris, thanks so much for taking some time out. Good to hear from you, my man. Glad everything's going well in your life. And I look to have you on again soon, okay?
All right, thank you, man. Anytime. Give me a call. I'll get on here anytime. Love it.
Appreciate it, Jeris. Thank you so much, buddy.
All right.
That War Eagle. That's Jeris McIntyre, former Auburn Tiger himself, and sixth-round draft choice in 2004 of the Kansas City Chiefs, and spent a few years with them, and was a great player, and was a great player for Auburn, and glad to have him on the program. Had some great guests on today, but we'll come back, our final segment here on Sports Call, and we'll take your calls. Stay tuned. More of the Friday edition of Sports Call coming your way right after this.